Welcome to Opinions in 10, online posts and biblical opinions in under 10 minutes. Starting now. All right, today's question is, today I told my husband that our vacations can no longer be at his parents' place now that we have a family and we're not on the same page. My husband and I have been married for nearly 2 years now, and our daughter is 13 months old. Around 2 weeks ago, she took her first steps. My husband moved to our state for his college and just stayed there, where we met, and now we have a family here. For our vacations and even for many important holidays, we've always just gone to his parents' place since we've gotten married, which I understand, and I like those trips. I'm fond of them. My parents live in the same city as us, so visiting and spending time with them has never been a problem, and I understand his position. But just now that my daughter is toddling around, I just feel like it's unfair to our family to only have a monotonous vacation plan. I want us to be able to revisit these days later, and the only background can't be his parents' house. I brought it up to him, and he said we can keep some days aside for a family detour when we visit them, which again to me isn't the same. That's not what I have in mind, not just a weekend getaway. There was some back and forth, and my husband, correctly I guess, brought up that there are still a few months till our next vacation. Why are we stressing about it right now? So we put a pin in it for now. But the issue is unresolved, and it's going to cause a problem come December. How can I take it up with him? And how do I make it clear that this is important? Okay, the conflict that you would present to us is one of where a family should go on vacation. And while this is not the greatest of all human conflicts ever to be presented to Reddit in hopes of a solution, it is nonetheless a conflict. But I'm going to make an assertion here that will, frankly, leave nobody surprised and in awe. The assertion being that the drama involving where you go on vacation is not your conflict here. I don't think this tops the list of problems that you have. I'll go ahead and give you the biggest one that you yourself presented in the post. It has 3 parts. Number 1, you made a decision on your own about where you were going on vacation. You consulted nobody. You didn't bring it up as a suggestion, a concern, or even a whim that you had. You simply barked orders at your husband and expected him to fall into line with what you wanted simply because you wanted it. The very basics of dealing with people, Interactions 101, is that you don't bark orders and demand compliance. This will work with nobody except for the most unremarkable and unrespectable of human beings among us. The kinds of people who shape their whole lives around what they think other people want and have no idea who they themselves are. But it gets even worse from here because your husband attempted to compromise with you and work with you, and you rejected those attempts because it was not exactly what you wanted in full. I mean, you aren't exactly giving off a vibe here of being a wonderful wife. You rejected all attempts that he made to compromise on this because it wasn't the entirety of what you want. But then it gets even worse, if you can believe it, because at the end of the post you stated that your way, the way you decided on your own and then demanded he comply with whether he likes it or not, is objectively what's important. Now, to ask a question of my own, important to whom? I know the answer to this. So does everybody else. It's important to you. I'm going to rely on Paul and Timothy for this one. Philippians 2:3-4 reads, "Let nothing be done through strife or selfish ambition, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but also on the things of others." Look, selfish ambition doesn't mean that you never do anything that you like or that you want to do, but it does mean that you don't see others as a means to get what you want. As a married couple, your life consists of serving each other, not having one of you make demands and expecting the other to fall into line. So with that said, let's move to the issue of the vacation itself. Why do you feel that experientially centered vacations are important, but relationally centered ones are not? I don't have a dog in this fight. It's of no concern to me what you decide to do. I'm just here trying to shed light on this. Experiences are wonderful things. I have seen many places. I've done many things in my life. Things I look back on with fondness. I have, from time to time, however, attempted to take vacations by myself, and while the experiences were the same as they would have been otherwise, I quickly discovered that the value of these things was in who you share the experiences with. To share an experience is to grow relationally with whoever you are sharing the experience with. Now, having a vacation that is just centered around spending time with friends and family is no less significant. You skip the out-of-the-way experiences and build special memories at the grandparents' house. I had these kinds of vacations almost exclusively as a child, and it built a strong sense of kinship with my grandparents. They lived quite a long way from us. Knowing that I was going to see them a handful of times during the year was something that was exciting and fun for me. But the best sorts of vacations were the ones where the extended family joined us for some sort of experience in a far-away place. So the option does exist to combine those two things. You didn't tell us how far away his parents live, but you did say that his are far and yours are near. Perhaps this being the case, you have difficulty understanding what it feels like to be so separated from his family. He doesn't get to see them very often, and he's probably wanting your kids to know their grandparents. He may feel a bit of resentment that your kids can see your parents at any time, but they don't often get to see his parents. I don't think that one of these plans is necessarily better than the other, but I do think that you need to work together to come up with something. And I think you need to understand that experiences are not everything. I'll tell you this with minimal detail. I lost a close family member earlier this year. She passed away after a long struggle with what she was dealing with. And there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about her. Do you know what I'm thinking about when she comes to mind? I'm not thinking about all of the cool stuff that we got to see or the experiences we had. I'm thinking about the time we spent together, the relationship that we had, the things that she's missing going on in life now. I never wish that we'd seen more stuff or went more places. I just wish we would have had more time. Life is in the relationships. So many people forget that. Don't be one of them. And that'll do it for today. God bless.